It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Thursday, October 24th, a week away from Halloween, with your hosts, me, Ray, and, well, Zach, proudly wearing his Phoenix Suns hoodie. What's going on there, handsome?
Just kind of awkwardly grabbed my chest right there. That was a little weird. Anyway, there it is. The dad did it right back. Happy Thursday, y'all. Today's show is brought to you by CarEdge.com. If you're looking to get edgy with your car, no better place to do it than dad like that one. CarEdge.com. We've got a $250 off promotion running on our extended warranty vehicle service contract. And as always, if you're in the market to buy a car, come to CarEdge.com. Let us know what vehicle you're interested in. We'll connect you to dealers, and we'll give you all the information you need to beat them, folks, to make sure you're saving thousands and getting the best deal. Yeah. Wait, one more time, Dad?
Yeah. They're gonna need Eddie the Clot Aliano as their cut man when they're done.
All right, so here's the deal. We're talking about deals today, Dad. There was a great article in Automotive News about Ford Bronco sales slide, unconcerning to dealers after 2 years of markups. U.S. sales of the Bronco SUV are down 16% this year, but dealers and analysts say it's a function of supply and demand finally normalizing. We're going to extrapolate some things from this article because, folks, end of the year is the best time to buy a new car. That is how it's always been. It's what it will continue to be. My dad can give you a bunch of context on why that is in just a moment. I want to focus, if it's okay with you, Pops, on the data first thing and first. Is that okay?
Sure. And you know, I love the headline where the dealers say it's unconcerning. Let me help you. After 43 years of experience, once they start sliding backwards, they normally don't stop sliding that way for a while.
You mean sales? That is the sales numbers.
Yeah, sales numbers. That is. So yeah. So
let's parse through this.
Nothing to see here. Okay.
Let's parse through this. Inventory rising.
Yes.
Inventory across the auto industry has steadily risen this year after years of sparse dealership. After years of sparse dealership lots. What terrible copywriting. Excuse me. Anyway, inventory is rising. According to the data analytics firm Cloud Theory, which monitors dealership data, the average Bronco inventory has tripled from a year ago, and days to move has more than doubled, while the number of vehicles moved has risen just 7%. We're going to spend a solid 5 minutes on just this paragraph. Okay, we are talking about the Bronco right now, the Ford Bronco, but this sentence, these two sentences, these two sentences, this summarizes what's happening in the auto industry right now and why great deals are around the corner. You cannot triple inventory levels, double the amount of time it takes to sell that inventory, and only have sales go up 7% for so long, Dad.
Yeah, that was my point at the beginning. Yeah, nothing to see here. This is not concerning. The hell it's not concerning. They know what's about to happen, and dealers know what's about to happen. The inventory is going to keep growing and growing and growing. And I don't know, they're going to be forced to no longer pretend that this is desirable merchandise. And they're not going to be able to charge market adjustments. Hell, they're not even going to be able to sell the vehicles at MSRP. They're going to have to discount the damn things below MSRP. And Ford corporate just might have to put some customer rebates on these vehicles to help move them along a tad. That's what's going to happen. And you know, after you spend 43 years in retail automotive and you realize once the numbers start sliding backwards in the wrong direction, to think that it's unconcerning, no, that's just a harbinger of things to come. It's just going to get worse until there's a refresh or a new model of some kind to spark interest in this vehicle that, well, has lost some interest. So, yeah, I think dealers are either putting on a smiley face just to do it, or Automotive News just wanted to write a headline that didn't make any sense.
All right, Dad, I'm going to pull it up over here on CarEdge.com car search. You can see here. There's not a ton of markup from invoice to MSRP on this Ford Bronco 4-door Outer Banks. This dealer's only had it for 46 days. But this is the data I want to zoom in on. We are in New York, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see there's 144 days supply of this particular type of vehicle. That is way too high. And you cannot sustain that for particularly long. And so, we could look for more Ford Broncos in various other parts of the United States. And I encourage everyone here that's a part of the CarEdge community and has CarEdge insights, do this. Look at your local market conditions, and not just for the Ford Bronco, but for a variety of vehicles, because the Automotive News article does contradict itself significantly. You can see here, Ford and other automakers are, quote, struggling through the changes of supply and demand dynamics of the marketplace. This is not just isolated to Ford. And you can even see it at our dear friends at the brand we do not name. Stellantis sees Ram sales rebound as inventory shrink. Incentives drive 35 to 40% increase amid excess stock and new models. We are seeing incentives work. We are seeing programs work. You can actually sell cars when you put money on the hood, when you really discount them. And that's ultimately what has to happen here for the industry at large, and especially this article harping on the Ford Bronco.
Well, anytime something doesn't sell, it goes back to the basic concept of sales. In order to get your customer to say yes to buy it, the value has to exceed the price that you're asking for it. If the price that you're asking for it so far exceeds the value that the customer perceives that it has, then you have to lower the price to bring it more in line with what the customer's perspective of its value is. They finally decide to do that on Dodge Ram pickup trucks, and they're starting to sell some of them. Doesn't mean they're selling enough of them. I mean, they were up to their asses in those trucks. They were buried in those trucks. Dealers had 3, 4, 5 times the day supply of those trucks that they needed. So, Stellantis could say, look, a huge win, 35 to 40%. It's not near enough, but it's a step in the right direction. And when it comes to those Broncos, one of the dealers said it best. We could probably sell a lot more of these if they, provided us with more of the lower price point entry level vehicles. Duh.
Look at this, Dad. This is the first page of results for Ford Broncos. $65,000, $67,000, $65,000, $47,000, $62,000. Oh my gosh, 96. Dad, remember when there were Ford Bronco Raptors selling above MSRP?
Yes. And those are the people who are the proud owners of massive negative equity today.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. 397 days supply. 282 Ford Bronco Raptors for sale within 100 miles. Where is this? 11782. Give me 1 second. 11782. That is Suffolk County, New York. So we're on Long Island. We're near New York.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, who doesn't need a fast Bronco to get you through Long Island?
That's insane.
Of course it's insane. And it was insane for a big time dealer to say, well, if they would just give us more of the cheaper versions, we could sell even more. I think the average transaction price on a Bronco today is around $55,000. That's more than the average transaction price for a new vehicle in America today. And not by a little bit, but by like $7,000 or $8,000.
Yep.
So yeah, anybody that might want a Bronco, when they see, well, geez, the average purchase price is $55,000, is thinking to themselves, well, I don't need one that bad.
That comes on the heels of, did you see the Associated Press actually published this article yesterday? Lower price new cars are gaining popularity, and not just for cash poor buyers. Like there's a push from mainstream media to bring awareness to the affordability crisis and the challenges going on there. So no wonder,
May I say, shame on the mainstream media.
Yeah.
We've been fighting this battle on our own for the last 3.5 years. Okay. We understood 3.5 years ago that there was an affordability crisis, that the average transaction prices could not rise to the level that they've been at and be sustainable for the type of growth that manufacturers and dealers might like to see in retail automotive. I don't know why it's taken mainstream media and others to go, damn, these are just priced too far out of line for what most Americans can afford. We know that wages have not kept up, so that you can't have the MSRP go up on average $12,000 over what it had been 4 years ago and expect people whose wages haven't kept up with that to just, well, go along for the ride.
Yeah.
They can't afford that ride.
But that's why the great deals are coming soon, right? Because as we see, more and more of the data demonstrates and shows that this is unsustainable. We've talked about it ad nauseum. There's floor plan costs. There's an economic incentive to lower the prices to sell the cars.
May I say that great deals is a misnomer. And the reason it's a misnomer is that unless you can bring the average transaction prices down from 48,000 to closer to the 36 or 37,000 they were just 4 years ago or 5 years ago, the deals still aren't going to be good enough for the vast majority of the buying public out there. The automotive industry needs to figure out how to get that average transaction price for new vehicles much closer to 40 grand than it is to 50 grand. And right now, and for the last 2 to 3 years, it's been hovering much closer to 50 grand than the 40 grand where it needs to be. And most manufacturers, as we know, abandoned the entry-level price vehicles. They don't want to produce them because they don't make enough margins in them to underwrite their EV business. And so the vast majority of people who might need a car can't afford to buy that new car because, well, that's just the decision the manufacturers have made as to what they're going to build.
But again, as floor plan costs go up, and as inventory sits, it forces prices down. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We've been seeing, and the data that we referenced today demonstrates that will continue to happen.
Absolutely. Will it bring the average new car transaction price down from 48 and change to 40? No. Could it bring it down to, we'll see next month, there'll be a headline that the average transaction price dropped to 47.2 or 46.9. Yeah, we could see something like that, but that's still $7,000 away from where we need to be. Is it a better deal for people who can afford to spend that money? It is. Is it a good enough deal for the people that want to be able to get a car who can't afford to spend that type of money? It is not.
I hear you loud and clear, Pops. I do want to reference one more thing with regards to floor plan. One of the largest car dealers in the United States came out with their earnings. Lithia saved $50 million more than planned through Q3, sees another $100 million in savings soon. CEO Brian DeBoer said most of the $100 million savings yet to come are on floor plan interest. So this is fascinating, Dad. This is a massive car dealer that's saying, let me come down here. The CEO suggested the floor plan interest savings were unlikely to happen until late in the first quarter of 2025, given the typical seasonality issues the dealership has in the fourth and first quarters. He said Lithia would save on floor plan interest expense by using technology to help stores avoid keeping too large of a day's supply on hand. I don't know what the heck that means, but there's an expectation that this just one dealer group is going to save $100 million.
Here, I can help them. That's all BS.
I think it's BS too.
It's all entirely 100% unadulterated American-made BS. Okay? And the reason I say that is we know inventories are increasing. Okay? We know that interest rates are going down, but only slightly. And so far since in September when the Fed cut 50 basis points off the Fed rate, Well, mortgage rates have gone up about 0.6%. Auto loan rates have come down the tiniest of bits. So floor plan interest rates are not going to come down enough for them to save $100 million in floor plan charges next year. Not going to happen because their inventory levels, regardless of the technology they use, are still going to be higher than what they had been. So if either way, if you're financing more cars, even at a slightly lower interest rate, it's not going to equate to $100 million. Could it equate to, I don't know, a tenth of that? $10 million? Maybe, but certainly not $100 million. I mean, that is another example of when corporations give you their earnings, they just, let's throw some pie in the sky for the investors out there, to just keep them happy.
All right, Pops, let's come here to the chat. We've got from Joe early in the show. I heard Ray say the S word on CarSense.
Well, I did. Yeah.
Not on this channel, Pops, not on CarEdge Live. We've got from Mark.
No, I've learned, there is one channel in which I can speak my mind entirely and use the language that is comfortable to me. And then sometimes Brandon bleeps it, but that's okay.
We've got from Mark here. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the kind contribution. The average car is driven 1/20th of the time. So a Tesla robo-taxi cybercab can replace 10 owned cars. I am not knowledgeable about what Tesla's doing on that front, so I don't know if I can really comment, but maybe there's a chance we got robo-taxis driving us around in the future. I know Pops wouldn't get into one of those, but who knows? From Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. We appreciate it. Cheap Bronco, baby.
Can I say one thing about the robo-taxi?
You can do whatever you want.
The one time you'll find me in one is if it's a robo hearse, and it's taken me on my final tour before you plant me in the ground. But otherwise, I doubt very seriously that you will ever see my butt in a robo taxi.
We've got here from Matthew. Good to see you, Matthew. Thanks for the kind contribution.
Thank you, Matthew.
Cheap Bronco, baby. No heated wheel on cheap one is a big fail. I'll take $40,000 two-door stick shift for $30,000 as their penance. Can do a live lesson for Zach. Thank you. I would love to learn how to drive a stick, Matthew. So I would greatly appreciate that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
For some video content on the main channel?
Not liking this is going already, but go for it.
No, we really should get our hands on a manual transmission car, and we should have cameras. We have the GoPros. We should have cameras in the car of me losing my mind when I'm trying to teach you how to drive a stick. Yeah. I think the vast majority of Americans out there would get a kick out of that. And then that could be the precursor for that robo hearse that I'll probably need someday.
I'm not going to kill you in a stick shift vehicle. David, thank you for the kind contribution. We appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy, I needed the exercise. Yeah, here we go. That's about $5 worth.
Thank you, David. We really, really appreciate that. Let's help out Melissa really quick. She's looking at a Nissan Frontier. You mind reading me out this VIN?
Only if it's correct. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1N 6ED 1EK 9RN 619090. Did I read all the numbers correctly?
You did indeed. Let's take a peek here. 76 days supply, target discount of $3,899, 246 days on the market. Nissans are some of the vehicles, Dad, that are getting pretty good deals right about now because they have such an oversupply. That's a good one. That's a good one to target. Reach out to the dealer. Hey, I know you've had this for 246 days. How can I help you make it move?
And ask them for like 10% off and see where you can settle.
Yeah, start there and then work backwards.
Plus any factory to customer incentives on top of it.
which we know, Dad. I mean, Nissan's another example of what we were talking about earlier in the show. Nissan lost 99% of their operating profit because they had so many incentives going on. So you've got
Yeah,
to imagine right now on that vehicle, there's some pretty big incentives.
absolutely. Yes, I
Yeah.
would think so. Yeah.
This is exactly what's going on, folks. This is why the great deals are around the corner, or honestly, in many cases, they're already here. Let's go ahead. Oh, yeah, and there you go. Dean reminding us Frontier is also a vehicle in the stair step program. That's another thing, another
Yeah.
example of the deals being here. The stair step program, we talked about that a couple weeks ago when that came back. The closer to the end of the month, the more incentive the dealer has to be making better and better deals on a vehicle like the Frontier. So even here in October, next month in November, and especially in December, end of the month, vehicles that are oversupplied that have been sitting for a while, you should be able to get some great deals.
Yes, absolutely. There's great car deals are coming soon to a theater near you.
Let's keep going in the chat here, Dad, from Dale. I can't believe the sky isn't falling today in the car business. You know, we've done no clickbait second week in a row.
Yeah.
And I will say, I do think we probably could have gotten more people to click on today's video if it was Ford is effed.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm feeling good about what we did. Great car deals are coming soon. Positivity is the name of the game here at CarEdge Live.
Yeah. You know, and some car dealers might see that as the sky is falling.
No, Dad, remember.
Yeah.
This is how car dealers feel about inventory tripling, days on market doubling, and sales only increasing 7%.
Unconcerning.
Unconcerning. Unconcerning.
Yeah.
We're not concerned about this. It's unconcerning.
Why would we be? You know, the fact that it's just costing us more to have that inventory sit here, we're unconcerned. Yeah.
Question for the community we've got from Michelle here. I'm seeing huge incentives on Nissan and Dodge in my area. Let us know in the chat, where are you seeing the incentives? What advertisements are you seeing? Which brands are you seeing more marketing for? Because again, the data does show that vehicles are starting to sell more because incentives are rising so much. Joe says incentives moving inventory. What a concept. I know you experienced that all throughout your career. And from Moses saying, been eyeballing a Bronco for a while. This is awesome news. Drop, baby, drop. You know what's interesting, Dad? Many of the brands have already come out with their 2025 model year vehicles, but some haven't yet. And that's also going to be another influencing factor here, is they need to turn over the 24s because the 25s are coming in. So that should also be influencing this kind of end of year push, I'd imagine.
You know, yes, and it will. And I was going to say, I remember during the Great Recession when my Acura rep said to me, he said, well, what can we do to spur interest on our vehicles to get people, you know, because sales were off 50, 60, 70, 80%. And my suggestion was that you make the offer so compelling, the pricing so compelling, that even though someone wouldn't want to spend the money, they're going to look at that value and they're going to go, I can't afford not to buy it.
Yeah.
And that is basically what some of the manufacturers are practicing today, which is make the offer, make the price so compelling that even though somebody who might say, I don't want to spend the money, it's such a good value, there is no way for me to pass on that. And so, yeah, but it's, you know, it's unconcerning as dealer profits will dwindle and the manufacturer incentive costs will go up, but it's unconcerning.
From Joe. Thank you, Joe. I meant Stellantis. I learned a stick on a Volkswagen bus. What vehicle did you learn how to drive stick on, Dad?
It was a 1967 or 69 Camaro. And it was a what was at that time affectionately referred to as a 3 on the tree. So it was on the column and you had to shift. And I had bought the car and I couldn't actually drive a stick when I bought the car. And a girlfriend of mine, a female friend of mine, I don't know that she was but she was with a group of her friends and they had gotten arrested for something, and she needed me to come pick her up. And being the chivalrous kind of guy that I am, and it was like 30 miles away on busy roads in Philadelphia, I basically taught myself how to drive a stick so that I could get up there and pick her up. And I probably, I don't know if she noticed, but I was probably 8 to 10 pounds lighter when I picked her up than when I had first gotten in the car, because I don't think I stopped sweating the whole time. With the old joke, you're sweating bullets. You're damn right. I was drenched. Okay, it was like I have I have to merge onto the Roosevelt Boulevard. Are you kidding me? I can't even shift properly. Oh my God. So that's how I learned to drive a stick.
That's fantastic, Dad. I love hearing your stories from Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Ray, my father gave me a 30-minute lesson on an '02 Ford Mustang GT. Told me to drive home, got out and said, go drive. Don't come back until you got it. Wow, that's one way to learn.
Well, I used to say to customers at the Nissan store when I first started in the business, and at that time, we sold a lot more manual transmission vehicles than you do today. And we used to tell people, we'll be more than happy to teach you how to drive it. Okay. And so we'd have them complete the paperwork, and we'd put them in the car, and we'd say, well, here you go. And they go, well, I thought you were going to teach me. I said, we are. Turn the car on, learn how to drive or die. Here you go. It's pretty simple, folks. You'll figure it out.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, Dad. That's
Not really.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. But
Hey,
yeah,
one
I
more.
think I'm telling you, it would be great content.
Okay, I would love to learn. I would love to know how to drive a stick.
Yeah, I mean, really, it would be
When
magical content for us to be able to do that.
I know, but when are you ever going to come back down here? You despise being here, so.
Well, you could come to the shore where it's less crowded, and we would have less traffic to deal with as we're trying to teach you how to drive a stick.
That's true. I would love to learn. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll make this happen, Dad. I would really enjoy learning how to drive a stick, and I think learning from you would be quite fun.
And I'm telling you, it will make great content that we will have if the public isn't on the edge of their seat, pooping their drawers like I am. Well, they should be. I'm just telling you.
You should stream it. Wow.
No, I don't want to live stream it.
I want to.
No. No.
Too much cursing?
You won't be able to monetize it. Because there's no way I'll be able to be on my best behavior when it comes to my choice of words.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm interested. I think live streaming it could be quite fun. Martin says, clickbait, bring it back, please. Wow.
Well, there you have it. There's a vote for clickbait, ladies and gentlemen. I thought maybe there would be a click for a vote for teaching Zach how to drive a stick live.
I think there's a lot of interest in that, Dad. So, all right, let's see if we can help out one more community member here. Where was it? From Jay Scav. Zach, what is a good price for a Ford Maverick XLT in upstate New York to buy? Is $35,000 a good price? That's taxes and OTD price. All right, I need an upstate New York zip code. What's upstate New York? Like Albany? Albany zip. Give me 1 second.
Albany could qualify. Schenectady could qualify. Syracuse could qualify.
12084. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to remind everyone under Buy a Car, Car Buying Tools, CarEdge Insights is 20% off for the next week or so. This is the toolkit that we use to help negotiate, navigate the whole 9 yards. We're looking for, what was it, a Ford Maverick?
Maverick XLT, I thought it was, wasn't it?
And I said the zip code we want to be in is 12084. So let me update that. 12084. And then he said XLT.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Okay, there's 12,225 for sale nation at the moment. $35,000 out the door. They've had this one for 118 days.
And even if you figure the fees are about 10%, that should put you pretty darn close.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think shoot for under $35,000 out the door. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely give that a try. And, you can get in touch with this dealer directly through CarEdge.com. Click on the Get Dealers pricing. It'll connect
Is
you, and
that a
then it'll
new one?
provide
Yeah,
you.
that's a new one. That looks like
Yes.
a news. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, get connected to the dealer. We then give you all the scripts, everything you need to be able to have the conversation with them. Show you that really quick. Once you've contacted a dealer on CarEdge.com, you'll then have access to all the vehicle information, as well as similar vehicles. But yeah, please, please, please use the checklist, use the guide, reference all of the cost of ownership data, other CarEdge community member, what deals they've gotten. All this information is available for free back on CarEdge.com. All right, Dad, let's call it a show. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m.
Yes.
Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern. We appreciate everyone tuning in. And Dad, I hope you enjoy your afternoon. I enjoyed spending
Well,
time.
I'm off to the Acme, and I am just so disappointed that I don't have a manual transmission Mini to drive over there. But I was thinking of the possibility, in all seriousness, and then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
That one of the vehicles I was seriously considering next year when my lease is up is a Mazda 3 hatchback.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we used to have a Mazda 3 hatchback.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one for you when you dropped out of college to stay home and help Mom. And it was a nice vehicle. Do you know today they're only available in a manual?
Really?
Yes. The one
I
I
know.
was interested in is
I
only
did not know
available in a manual. And I was thinking to myself, man, it's 70. I'll be 74 when I buy it. Is that really what I know I don't drive much, but is that really what I want to be doing when I do drive?
Huh.
And I have not convinced myself that that's really what I want to be doing when I do drive, but
That's a cool thought, Dad.
yeah. And then, obviously someday you could end up with a manual transmission Mazda 3 hatchback. Wouldn't that be great?
I can wait. I can wait for all of that to happen. Folks, we'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Enjoy your afternoon, everyone.
Have a great rest of your day, handsome.